In the quiet shadows of a remote forest, a boy grew up beside a woman the world called a monster, his mother. Half of her face was a canvas of burns, a sight that invited whispers and cruel laughter from the village. For the boy, every pointing finger, every jeer, was a dagger to his young heart. He didn't see a mother. He saw the source of his shame. And so, a deep, quiet hatred began to bloom in his heart. Not for the world that judged, but for the woman who bore him. But this monster, she was a force of nature. From dawn till dusk, she toiled. Her hands, rough and calloused, sorted through piles of garbage. Her back bent over a small patch of farmland. Every peso she earned, every drop of her sweat, was a coin laid on the altar of her son's future. She was sending him to school. He pushed her away, his words like venom, his eyes filled with the shame she unknowingly caused him. Yet, her love remained, a silent, unwavering fortress against his rejection. A mother, scarred and broken on the outside, can still house a perfect, unbreakable love within. One day the heavens wept. A heavy rain fell, and through the downpour, his mother appeared at the school, a small package in her hands. His classmates saw her. The laughter started, a cruel chorus echoing in the rain. "Look, it's the monster's son!" The words struck him like lightning. Shame ignited into a white-hot rage. He turned to his mother, his voice trembling with fury, and screamed the words that would haunt him forever. "I wish you were dead! I wish I never had a monster for a mother!" He didn't realize that shame, when it boils over, becomes an anger that builds walls so high, even love cannot climb them. He kept his vow. He studied hard, not for a better life, but for an escape. He clawed his way to success, becoming a renowned architect in the gleaming city, a world away from the forest and the shame he left behind. He built a new life on the foundation of a forgotten past, erasing his mother from his story as if she were a blueprint error. He never looked back, never sent a letter, never made a call. He had escaped, but in his climb to the top, he forgot the very ground from which he grew. Years melted into a decade. One afternoon, he was inspecting one of his grand construction projects. An old, disheveled woman, a beggar with a familiar, scarred face, approached him for alms. He looked at her, a flicker of something unrecognized in his eyes. Disgust quickly washed it away. "Get away from me, you monster!" he spat, shoving a few coins at her and turning his back. He didn't know. He couldn't know. He had just called his own mother a monster, the woman who had wandered for years, her mind slowly fading, searching for the son who had vanished. Moments later, the world came crashing down. A scream, the grinding sound of metal and concrete, a towering pile of hollow blocks, unstable and carelessly stacked, began to topple directly towards him. He was frozen, a deer in the headlights of his own impending doom. But then a blur of motion. A frail body flung itself at him, pushing him out of the way, taking the full, crushing impact. The dust settled. He was alive, bruised but alive. Under the rubble lay the old woman, the beggar, the monster he had just scorned. She had saved his life. In the sterile silence of the hospital, an old woman, a friend of his mother's from the village, found him. She sat by his bedside, her eyes filled with a sorrow that spanned decades. And she told him the truth. A story from a lifetime ago. A fire. A grand house engulfed in flames. A young maid, his mother, rushing back into the inferno, not for possessions, but for the employer's infant son trapped in his crib. She emerged from the flames, the baby safe in her arms, her own face and body seared by the fire. "That baby," the old woman whispered, her voice cracking. "That baby was you." The world stopped. The monster he had hated his entire life was his savior. The scars he had despised were the medals of her heroism, earned saving him. The shame he carried was a lie. In that crushing moment of revelation, he finally saw the truth. He was the monster. His heart, scarred by ingratitude, by shame, by a blinding hatred, was the truly disfigured thing. We spend so much of our lives running from shadows, projecting our own pain onto others, never realizing that the past we fear holds the very keys to who we are. The real monster isn't the one with scars on their face, it's the one with scars in their heart, carved by hatred and ingratitude. Sometimes the angels who save us look like monsters to a world that cannot see past the surface. And the greatest tragedy is to run from the very person who gave you the legs to run in the first place. Cherish your parents. Understand their sacrifices. Don't wait until it's too late to see the hero behind the scars. Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow and subscribe for more stories that touch the heart.